Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristine, and in today's video, I will be taking you through a day in my life as a part-time physical therapist. So today is Monday, and I actually am a little bit busier today. My busier days are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I try to load up most of my cases those days, so I actually have 5 patients today. It may not seem like a lot, but in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I work, actually is a little bit of a longer day just because a lot of my cases or the patients, they don't live very close to each other. So I do a lot more driving. And if you don't know what I do house calls. So that means I go to each patient's home and that's where I treat them for physical therapy. I did this in New Jersey and I did this in New York. So I am now doing it in North Carolina. And this is kind of where most of my experience as a physical therapist is. So if you guys like this video, give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, follow me on my Instagram and my other social media accounts, and let's get to it. So I am currently in the car at my house, and I am about to drive to my first patient's house. It is 11 o'clock on the dot. And as you can see here, I'm ready to go. I got my podcast on. I have my GPS set. The first patient I'm seeing is about 22 minutes away from my house. And I kind of put it that way because they're the closest one. 22 minutes is not bad. So I'm going to be there a little bit early. I'm supposed to see them at 11:30. And I kind of want to be early because I don't want to run late. I'd rather run early. So I am going to drive now while listening to a podcast. This is the Wire podcast, Women Invest in Real Estate podcast. I usually listen to real estate, finance, or kind of lifestyle podcasts on my way since I do so much driving. That is pretty much it. I am going to shut the camera off now because I'm just going to be doing a lot of driving pretty much. You know, maybe I'll just keep the camera here for a little bit so you can see me driving. And I'll definitely shut it off because I don't want to show you what you're driving the whole time. So it is officially 11:21 a.m. I arrived to my first patient's home pretty early. It was a very smooth drive, just listening to the podcast. So I am going to try to be on time as much as possible today. Like I said before, I do house calls. And I actually work per diem for 3 different companies. I am onboarding with one new one because I'm trying to find a company that has a caseload that is closer to my home overall. Most of the cases that I have with the main company I work for are like 30, 40 plus minutes away from my house. So I'm trying to, make the commute 30 minutes or less. And that is why I'm onboarding with all these different companies. And I'm only working per diem, which means I don't really have a caseload requirement. I don't have a quota that I have to reach. I just kind of work, whenever I want, pretty much as needed. So I love the flexibility and the freedom in working per diem so far. I don't need the insurance or any other benefits because I am on my partner's insurance and benefits. So that is the pros of working per diem in Charlotte, North Carolina as a physical therapist. So again, since I do outpatient house calls, that typically means companies want you to kind of push for 4 units in order to bill for 4 units. And that pretty much just means I have to be with the patient for at least 53 minutes if I want to get those 4 units, because most of the clients that we see are under Medicare or some sort of insurance program related to Medicare. So that is a little bit of that. I am going to now run into my patient's house because I'm rambling too much, and I will see you guys after.
1 hour later.
Hello. I just finished with my first patient. My patient was very pleasant. I always love seeing them. It went very well. I was probably there for close to 55 minutes, almost an hour. I am now going to my next patient. I do have to run because they are a little bit farther, but after that, all of my patients are grouped closer together, and that's kind of how I make my schedule. And I usually make my schedule the week before and kind of confirm it with all my clients, before the week ends. My next client is about 26 minutes away. I do have to drive a little bit faster or else I'm going to be running a little bit late. I'm supposed to be there at 12:45, and you can see right now it's 12:23. So I am going to run. I'm going to listen to my podcast in the meantime, and I am gonna go. Okay, I am back. I actually just finished seeing my second patient. I couldn't film when I got here because I was running a little bit late and I wanted to kind of catch up on time, but I have definitely caught up because my next patient and my patients here on out are all kind of located in the same geographical area, so I don't have to drive that far, and I will be running more on time now. In terms of scheduling, I usually try to schedule my patients at least every 15 minutes. I try to schedule them on the hour if possible, if they're close by, but if not, then I have to schedule them, with a 15-minute gap for driving time. But my next patient is scheduled for 2 o'clock and it is currently 1:42. And you can see here on my GPS that I am only 8 minutes away, so I'm going to be there early. Another thing that I wanted to share is that since I do house calls for work, I definitely keep all of my equipment in my car. So here's some of the equipment that I carry. I have my backpack that has, my blood pressure cuff, my pulse oximeter, so I can check vital signs. I have TheraBands in there. I have a stretching strap and other things that I carry in a bag, just some 2-pound weights. And then the blue thing on the bottom there are some ankle weights that are adjustable. So I have a lot more things that I carry depending on which company I work for. Another company that I work for, I actually have a patient tomorrow with, I have to bring a whole treatment table. So I will carry that in the trunk and I'll literally bring that with me. As you can see here, I'm starting to sweat a little bit because it is really, really hot today in Charlotte. It's April 1st, but it is 83 degrees right now and it's pretty much summer and I need to buy more summer clothes. Anyways, I am rambling. I am going to go to my third patient of the day and I will see you guys there. I just got to my last 2 patients home. They are husband and wife, so it is a back-to-back session. It's kind of nice because I don't have to drive. I know that this vlog is super choppy. I haven't done a day in the life vlog in forever. So just work with me here. I'm working on my skills. But as I was saying before, the last patient that I went to the patient's daughter's house for the first time because the patient was getting carpet renovation done to her home. So I was completely in awe and amazed by the daughter's home. It was just gorgeous. It was right on a golf course. They had this beautiful outdoor area that we did our exercises in, and we kind of walked outside as well and worked on some balance and community ambulation, dual tasking, that kind of thing. And it was just really, really nice. I took some pictures and videos for inspiration with permission, of course. So that was really nice to see. In the area that I work in, Charlotte, North Carolina, I work in, I guess, the nicer neighborhoods. It's known as like the richer, upscale neighborhoods, because that's kind of where a lot of the older adult population is, which is the population that I work with. So it was really nice to kind of get tours of these houses and get some inspiration from all of these beautiful mansions that I go to. So that is nice. As I said before, I am down to my last 2 patients for the day, number 4 and number 5. I am about 6 minutes early. This 2:54. Finally got caught back up on time. And so as you can see, since I'm usually running everywhere and driving everywhere just to be punctual, I do not give myself time to do any documentation in between sessions. So when I get home, that is when I do all of my documentation. So I have only 5 daily notes to do, and that should only take me maybe 20 to 30 minutes. It really doesn't take long. I do it through my computer, my own personal computer. Depending on the company that you work for, they might, give you a computer, they might give you a tablet, a smart device. Another company that I work for in Charlotte, they have you do the documentation on your own personal cell phone through their own app. It really depends on the company. But yeah, it's really a hassle for me to kind of do the documentation when I'm working just because I don't have service. So I would actually have to connect to my iPhone's hotspot just to connect to the internet and do the documentation. So I just kind of wait to do it at home. I am going to wrap up my day seeing these last 2 patients. And that is pretty much the vlog here. After I finish these 2 patients, I'll be done around 4:50-ish, I would say. And then after that, it's kind of a far drive for me to get home. I'll probably be home around 5:30, 5:40. And then I'll make dinner and have some dinner with my boyfriend and then finish up my documentation if I have some energy, or I'll just leave it for tomorrow morning. Yeah, that is pretty much the day in my life as a part-time physical therapist that does house calls. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you like this video, give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!